Welcome to SEC Football Live here on the 440 Sports Network. I am Braden Gall. That is Trey Wallace of Outkick. And yes, I am back in my home studio for the first time in 11 days. Power is on at Chateau de Gall. Trey Wallace, how are you, sir?
Hey, man, I'm managing, buddy. I'm good. Congrats on getting the power back.
Small victories.
I think my little brother, my other little brother, got his back. What's today? Yeah, he got his back Monday.
He's on the west side of Nashville. Is that right?
Harding.
Okay, never mind.
So south. Yeah, south.
Yeah.
So they got it back, and they were. I mean, they fleed south to Birmingham, and then so it. And where I was at, didn't expect that much, but we ended up getting 13 inches of snow.
I was gonna say, I heard East Tennessee got hit hard?
Yeah, we got trapped here. We were already supposed to be kind of out of town back in our hometown of Mobile, and we got trapped, bro. Like 13 inches. Like I had to hire the snowplow guy that was coming around and doing stuff on his little machine, just to clear our driveway. Like I couldn't get out. I burnt so much rubber on my tires just trying to move 3 inches the other day. So that part's done. And so it's been a wild few days. And I think this area is supposed to get like an Arctic blast again this weekend. So I'm really excited about
that. Glad to hear that you're going to have some time here with some family as you deserve it after the season is over. We'll have some other voices on the show over the course of the next couple of weeks. And so you well-deserved breather and time off for you, Trey. Outkick.com. Check out all of his work there. Proud to announce something here coming up on the show in just a second. However, we're going to dive into the 6 coaches and look at their schedule, the 6 new coaches in the SEC. I want to look at their schedules, just some of the kind of start to wet the whistle a little bit on looking ahead to 26, which will be different for a number of reasons, not the least of which is the 9-game conference schedule, 5 home, 4 road, or vice versa. The 6-3 model, which is I'm very happy with outside of a couple of random ones. Basically, they did a great job on that. We have some scheduling news around the college football playoff for this year and for next year, and some very not so veiled threats from the SEC and the Big Ten to start everything. Oh, and a lawsuit also. We got a lawsuit to get to. So plenty of stuff to get to. If you want to get involved in the comments and kind of steer the direction of the show, please do so. Jump into the comment section, give us a question, thumbs up on YouTube, 5 stars on your podcast app of choice, etc., etc. Quickly, though, I'm proud to announce new sponsors on the show, new sponsor, and that is go to your local tap room in Middle Tennessee. So we are partnering here at SEC Football Live and across the 440 Sports Network. We are partnering with East Nashville Beer Works, which has 2 locations, one in East Nashville. You got good merch, too. And they've got one out in Wilson County, which is right there by Mount Juliet in Lebanon, right off of I-40. It's got a huge, huge tap room with a dog park and a playground for kids and like LED screens outside, projection screens. They've got a rooftop deck that is like just for 21 and up. All the kids stay downstairs. We are partnered with Yazoo Brewing Company, one of the original OG craft brewery companies. They have a brand new tap room, not brand new. They have a tap room up on up on the river up there on the Cumberland River, up just north of town in Madison. So if you're in Madison, check out Yazoo.
I lived in Madison for a minute.
Madison's very underrated. Madison's great. I'm just 10 minutes from Madison. My kids play soccer in Madison. It is a really chill, awesome, like go sit on a cliff on a bluff, overlook the river and drink a great craft beer. Like,
yes,
it's unbelievable. It's great.
It was right next to not this place, but it was next to the golf course, like a driving range right across the bridge in Madison. Yeah.
So make sure you check out, if you're out in Wilson County, you got East Nashville Beer Works. If you're in East Nashville, you got East Nashville Beer Works. If you're in Madison, you got Yazoo Brewing Company. If you're in downtown, Tennessee Brew Works, a part of our partnership as well. Every single piece of their agricultural is from the state of Tennessee. They are very proud of the fact they get all their ingredients from the state of Tennessee, I think with the exception of hops, and everything in there on their food menu, which is the best food at a brewery I think I've ever found. Every bit of food has beer in it. So the ketchup has beer in it. The cheese has beer in it. The burgers have beer in it. The fish tacos have beer in them. Everything has beer in it, Trey. Everything.
So I got to eat like 9 tacos and I can get slammed. I guess that's the best way to look at it.
I don't think it works that way, no.
Okay, all right. I'm just checking, and I do like the merch. By the way, at first I thought you were representing ETSU.
It does look like ETSU, doesn't it?
Right, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. But no, that's awesome. And yeah, I mean,
Timmy Smith not walking through that door.
Yeah.
And obviously they have amazing shoestring fries. They've got fantastic. Seriously, the food there is spectacular. And shout out to our fourth partner. I know it's a lot, but we're just partnering with craft beer because you need to go into a tap room in Middle Tennessee in 2026 and have a beer with somebody. Have a beer with your friend, have a beer with your family, have a beer with your spouse or your significant other. Have a beer with somebody you don't know. It is actually scientifically good for your health to go share in moderation a beer or two with somebody in your life. And so Jackalope Brewing Company, which recently purchased Black Abbey, we got them all on the show, Trey. We got
Bro, you got me all sorts of wired when it comes to alcoholic beverages and beer right now. Like you have just named off like 10 things, and I've got to get brushed up on my local brewing. Best way to put it.
Let's go through some news here quickly first, and then we'll get into the threats here. First, the Joey what do we need to know about this Joey Aguilar thing?
Here we go.
He files a lawsuit. He's trying to get eligible. He didn't have the medical thing that Trinidad Chambliss had. How does it relate to Diego Pavia and to Chambliss? What do you?
Well, he when he yanked himself from the Diego Pavia lawsuit, I guess it was last month. He did it for a reason, because he was going in front of a local judge. He was following the Trinidad Chambliss thing. He was following the Charles Bediaco thing. He filed the lawsuit on the 30th, which, if I'm not mistaken, was last Friday. As of we're recording this, he already got a TRO. So the judge, this thing's moving very, very quick. He got a TRO, which only grants him 15
temporary
days.
restraining order.
Right, temporary restraining order for the folks out there. That maybe aren't up to the link.
Well, now that you're a college football reporter, you have to know all these legal terms.
That's exactly right. And so here's the crazy part. So he gets the temporary restraining order, which allows him technically to start winter workouts with Tennessee. So he can go over there and work out the facility. It's only a 15-day temporary restraining order. But
did he enter the draft? Sort of.
So the best way that somebody kind of explained it to me is when you didn't see him at the Senior Bowl and all these other All-Star games, you kind of knew where this was going. I had heard they were going to file a lawsuit from the state level for a little bit. So long story short, he got his TRO, meaning he can go back into the facility right now and work out. He's not technically enrolled at Tennessee, but he can enroll for, here's where it gets a little interesting. These schools have mini semesters, and the next one is coming up in March. So he can go ahead and enroll for classes and be ready to go for the mini semester. So he can go work out right now. He's probably at the facility with the team. And then Friday is the big day. I can't stress this enough. How big Friday is for the NCAA. First off, you have Charles Bediaco's temporary injunction, meaning he's already got a TRO, folks. Okay. Just the injunction means he can play for the remainder of the season. That's coming Friday. Well, guess what? Joey Aguilar's injunction case is on Friday as well. And if he gets that injunction, he will be the Tennessee quarterback for 2026.
Oh, yeah.
Right up. Sure. And the Judge Haggerty, that put out why he thinks that this could go through. Is it because
the last name is synonymous with being a fan of Tennessee football?
I had to do a little I had to do a little digging on that one.
Any relation to Bill or Trey or anybody else?
I would hope not, but we're gonna find out. So here's the big. This is why he's going to win the case. The judge said the plaintiff has demonstrated a substantial likelihood of success on the merits of his claim that the NCAA's JUCO rule violated the Tennessee Trade Practices Act. That's it,
folks.
What are we doing? That's why these guys are filing on the state level now and not the federal level. Sure. And if he would have, I'll wrap it up with this. If he would have kept his name in the Diego lawsuit and waited on that, he'd have been waiting for a couple more months just to get in front of a judge. He got in front of a judge within 5 days. Yeah. And if he gets that injunction, I promise you his lawyer, Cam Norris, if you don't know who Cam Norris is, look him up. He was pretty much the lead attorney helping Tennessee beat the NCAA in 2023 with the Nico case. And
was that the one with Jonathan Skrmetti as well? Or was
yes.
that a different? Yeah.
Yes.
Attorney General of the state. And
right. Cam Norris was one of the lawyers. That was a fun trial.
The state of Tennessee is very, very pro University of Tennessee. Like, I mean, the legislative body, the governor's office, the state legislative house, it's all very tied. And I know for a fact that Danny White is in Nashville lobbying all the time. And so they are very tight. The AG's office, the governor's office, the state legislative body, like they are all very pro University of Tennessee athletics.
And see, here's where I'm like, how's this
like Missouri, like Missouri,
because this is where I find it interesting. I don't know if the hearing is going to get delayed a little bit, but the attorney that does this for the NCAA, Askew, last name, is out in Nashville. Well, he's supposed to be in Tuscaloosa on Friday. Well, I would imagine he's also the attorney representing the NCAA in the Aguilar case. Can't be at two places at once. Fascinated to see how that part plays out. I think the Bediako thing, just to kind of put a bow on all of us, the Bediako thing is going to open up. I think the next thing that's going to affect is college baseball. I think if Bediako gets his, I think college baseball, I think guys in single A, double A, and triple A that still have eligibility on their clock, 5-year clock, Braden, are going to come back and sue to be able to play this season. That's why I think the Bediako case is key. And then for the Aguilar situation, I know this is all crazy. For the Aguilar situation, what you're going to have is if he gets a temporary injunction on Friday, his lawyers are going to slow play the absolute hell out of this, where he doesn't go back in front of a judge technically until after next season's over.
Just run the clock out. Run the clock.
They're going to run the clock.
The legal version of the four corners offense and defense. What's fascinating, like, look, none of this is a surprise that we're in this big of a mess with this stuff. As I said on the Bediako thing, Tennessee fans couldn't believe it. Can't believe that Alabama will be allowed to use a player who played in the NBA. Now they're going to turn around and do the same thing for their player. And again, that's not a knock on either Alabama or Tennessee. It's just every team should do the best they can to get the best team they can and to put the best players on the field or court or ice or diamond, whatever. And that's what we're going to do, which leads us right into the SEC.
It's like what Charlie Baker said. And I just wanted to add this part yesterday. And I'm paraphrasing here when he said this to Pat Forty. But he said until the state and the federal level can get together and work on this type of thing, we're going to have cases like this for the foreseeable future.
Well, and the other rule, the other way that this could happen, because it's impossible for the NCAA to get everybody on the same page, this is what Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti are threatening. They are threatening on Friday. They're going to put an advisory committee together. It's a bunch of like PR messaging, legal mumbo jumbo. Like, we're going to have an advisory committee that's going to look into this. No, here's the deal. They want complete and utter control over the structure of the sport. And I'm not even saying that they are the wrong ones to have the power, because right now they have all the money. They generate the most interest. They drive television ratings at a major level. There are plenty of other programs in the Big 12 or the ACC, some of whom that would fit into that breakaway, but they're threatening to break away. I don't know how this hasn't always been the most logical conclusion, which is probably as the grant of rights run out and the 7-year playoff contract, which starts this year, runs out in 2032, I think, you're probably looking at a new structure, new version of the sport by 2034. Now, there also is a look-in clause in the contract in like 28 and 29 where you can change the contract with the television networks if you expand. And so it gives them like a 3 to 4 year window to kind of keep this thing going, and then they can expand. I don't know how. Like, I don't know what eventually happens in the Petitti versus Sankey power battle inside of the
LNSL match.
Yeah, like there's going to be a power struggle like every merger. In any time two major companies merge, there's some power struggle that happens. Who's going to get what role? And I think that would happen in this case to get a sort of true commissioner. But at the end of the day, they can put a lot of the rules in place as a tandem. They can put collective bargaining in place. They can put scheduling rules in place. They can put eligibility rules in place, which solves all of these problems. Because if they do this breakaway thing, and again, we'll get to what it means for expansion, but if they do this, they can just say, you come to play for us or you don't come play here. And that's it. You can transfer inside of these 35 to 50 teams, and you can transfer once, and then you can like they're going to have all the rules in place. Maybe it's 2 years and then you can transfer. Maybe you can transfer once if you're at your halfway point. It doesn't matter. They're going to come up with the rules. And that will include solving
not within the conference, how the SEC has that rule set up right now. If you transfer within the spring, you can't transfer within the conference.
I think that changes. I think there's going to have there's going to have to be some sort of if a player is recruited, he comes to Tennessee and he's clearly not an SEC caliber player, he needs the opportunity to go play in the group of 5 or in another entity. So that's going to be on the school to say, no, you can do that. And we'll have to figure out what the mechanisms are for all of this stuff. But this is how you solve all these problems. If your brain is exploding about Aguilar and Pavia and Chambliss and Bediako and baseball players, if your brain, like, rightly so, it's ridiculous. This is how you solve it, is you have the SEC and the Big Ten get together and create rules out of thin air. And I think that's what they're going to do.
I also think it's the biggest thing. I think what you're going to start seeing over the next, you talked about it, the window opens up in 29. I think what you're also going to see is how many schools can we add in a short period of time? And mind you, this is kind of a short period of time, Braden. I think you would agree with me. I mean, we're in 26 right now. If you don't start putting things towards, this in like 27, there comes your problem. I personally feel like you're going to add teams, and please don't go crazy on social when I say this, but like, I'm just giving examples. North Carolina.
Oh yeah. North Carolina is the prize possession.
Miami, Texas Tech.
Oklahoma State, maybe
Baylor, Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
You're going to spread things out a little bit, and you're going to add as many teams, and you're going to pluck them away from the ACC and others because of the money that you can offer. ESPN is not going to turn down these new teams that can only raise their revenue, especially, in my opinion. ESPN's trying to do this shift to more college football coverage. And I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but they are behind the scenes, so just take our words for it. I honestly think that we're heading down a path that I even think it was a tactic with stalling the CFP format negotiations, Braden. It wasn't just a power play by Sankey and Petiti. I think in the back of their mind, they know that we're heading down a road right now where expansion is going to be massive in college athletics. And it's not just football. It's basketball. For some of these schools, it's baseball. It's softball.
And what are the two areas? So this is the next question, which is going to be, I don't know how the logical conclusion of this conversation doesn't end with 34 is not enough. Right now, there's 34 teams in the SEC, in the Big Ten. That the end of this conversation is that's just not enough. We've got too many big brands that people care about to be excluded from this. Let's go to 50, just to arbitrarily pick a number. Let's go to 50. I can add 16 real fast. And what are the two areas they desperately want to be in? Both the Big Ten and the ACC or the SEC in this conversation. They want more heartland, which is like Texas, with a little bit of maybe of like filling in the gaps between USC and Texas. And then what's the other area that they don't have? The Atlantic Seaboard. And so you pick the biggest, best brands in those areas,
Rutgers.
and you go and you go Clemson, Florida State, Miami, Georgia Tech, NC State, North Carolina, Virginia, and Duke. And everybody else isn't worth it. Boston College, Syracuse, Wake Forest, they're not worth it. So you got the two Virginia schools, you got probably the three in North Carolina, you go Georgia Tech, Clemson, Florida State, Miami.
You do NC State in there, right?
NC State's got a great – they have a big alumni base. I think NC State.
No, that's all I was wondering. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah,
I think Wake is the one that gets left out, frankly. But and then you go to go harder into Texas, which is Texas Tech, Baylor, TCU. You probably add Oklahoma State, and I think you would add BYU and Utah. I think. I'm not sure about that, but I think you would. And so I don't know about Boise.
That would be interesting in the South. Okay.
But that gives you immediately, and then you have 50 plus, probably you'd go to 48 or maybe 52, and you'd break it into 13 team divisions. And you'd have an East and North, a South and a West, and that's it. And then you're good to go.
And then you're going to see what is now going to be called subdivisions at other levels. That's what you're going to see with the other schools. And so, I mean, like we're talking about this, folks, but they're talking about even harder behind closed doors, in these meetings. And I think what you're also starting to see when it comes to who you can bring in and how you can get out of it, like the television contracts, guys, they're made to be broken. Okay. So I feel like, and also if you're adding additional properties, Braden, I mean, the money, dude, like you think a couple of $1 billion is a lot now. Wait till the bidding war starts between ESPN and Fox and others about who gets the rights to this because
Oh,
it's
yeah,
going to be
yeah.
broken up.
Yeah, that's what'll happen is it'll
You
be
see what I'm getting at?
yeah,
So,
it'll
like,
be like the NFL where they have 4 partners in 4 windows, and each partner gets a window. Amazon gets Thursday night, you
you
know,
can sub-license it to
yep.
Netflix for certain days.
NBC gets Sunday night, and ESPN gets Monday night, and you're gonna have Fox with noon. You're gonna have CBS with 3:30. You're gonna have ESPN with 7:00, and then you probably have like a Thursday or a Friday night, maybe a Friday night slot on the West Coast for some of the like tier 2 teams that maybe goes to a bidder that's not willing to spend as much.
Perfect example is TNT having the rights they bought the rights from ESPN for the CFP. And so like that's just kind of an example of how this would work and how these other networks would come into play. Like,
So,
yeah, go ahead.
well, I was going to ask you, one of the elements to all of this is, does anyone get kicked to the curb? Because I've talked to I've talked to people about this behind the scenes that have said there are athletic directors that are concerned about this, whether it's Vanderbilt, Northwestern, Mississippi State, you know who they are, that are concerned about if there's a line and we're above it. And I know we've had this conversation a gazillion times. I just can't see politically them kicking a team out of the Big Ten or the SEC that's been there since the 30s. Like, it's hard to fathom.
But there's also a reason why, Braden, that you're seeing some of these schools invest a lot of money right now and try to get good right now. Like, they understand
Northwestern's field opening this year, Vanderbilt,
which is an NFL stadium for Northwestern football. That's not a shot at Northwestern. I'm just saying that is a stadium that could host WrestleMania next year, the way that it looks. So yeah, and also the biggest thing too is I don't blame the thinking that it could go sideways. I think this is why when we talk about NIL and we talk about rev share and we talk about how much these schools are investing and we talk about like there's a reason why I'll go back to Vanderbilt. It's not just because of what Diego Pavi and Clark Lee have been doing. It's because they know that they have to get up to a benchmark, Braden, for them to be able to move forward in the future with the conference. I'm not saying the SEC would not kick Vanderbilt out, okay? But what I am saying is that keeping up with the Joneses is a big thing. And I think and also the way that we look at it right now, I think with the new conferences and the new mega leagues that are coming, you have to be smart financially. The first thing that popped in my mind was the Florida State article that was released earlier in the week about their deficit that they're running at, and then the Rutgers situation where Rutgers is somehow $700 million in debt.
Yeah.
Like you can't, and nobody's taking that on. Like,
and ultimately that's, well, private equity thinks they can, but the only way Rutgers becomes a valuable entity is if there is revenue sharing that's equal and collective bargaining that has a salary cap, and then everybody spends the same amount of money. So everybody makes the same amount of money.
The Florida State thing wasn't that big a deal to me about their deficit because it's still Florida State. Like they can figure out a way to make up that, even if it's private equity. Go ahead.
You could add, because I am curious about that, but I think there's a lot of legal ramifications, because Josh says is it kicking a team out, or is it just not getting an invite to the new party? And I think that's an interesting legal way to frame it, but I think there's too many legal hurdles to separate Vanderbilt from the SEC.
There's lawsuits for days.
Yeah, for a long time. So I think what happens is they're more likely to keep everybody in and just get to like 54. If you add 20 teams, you get to 54, and you can pick the best 10 brands from the ACC and the Big 12 and add them to Notre Dame, and all of a sudden you're there. So I look, I can do this again. Utah, BYU, Colorado, Oklahoma State, Baylor, TCU. Boom. And Texas Tech. Sorry. That is 7 plus Notre Dame. That's 8. Then you go to the ACC and you go NC State, North Carolina, Duke, Louisville, Virginia, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, Miami, Clemson, Florida State. And that leaves 2 spots for either Syracuse, West Virginia, Houston, Cincinnati, Iowa State, Kansas State, and Kansas. And that would give you 54. That would be 4 divisions of 14 teams, which I don't know, Trey, sounds like the size of old conferences.
Right off the top of my head, Kansas State stood out as a school you have to grab.
Because I think Iowa State has the best fan base.
I don't disagree with that.
Houston has the money and the
I think Kansas State's one, Iowa State's another. You got to grab Houston.
Cincinnati, Syracuse, West Virginia has an awesome history and fan base.
SMU.
It's a lot of money. I mean, Houston
That's
and
what I'm getting at.
SMU.
A lot of this comes off just money too, by
Yeah.
the way, folks,
Yeah.
not what you're doing on the field.
No, you're right. SMU's good. That's a good one. Cal, I didn't even mention Cal and Stanford, which also makes sense if you're going to add them to the West Coast team and put them in the Western Division. But again, I think we don't have to. We've done this so many times.
No. I agree. I think tradition wise, and there's going to be a lot of different things based on this. West Virginia is like one of them too, like you just talked about. Like, so I guess what we're both trying to say is prepare yourself, because in 5 to 6 years, you thought it was crazy right now. 5 or 6 years from now, like it's going to get a little nutty, because there's no other way. All these there are going to be a lot of television contracts that start coming up in the next 7 years. Okay. So they're going to try to position themselves very, very wisely about the future. And that's where you're going to see all this come into play. And I think at the same time, I don't care that Miami got a $30 million paycheck from the ACC for making the CFP and getting to the finals and all that stuff. That is pocket change to some schools and what they're making on a yearly basis compared to what ACC was making. I mean, I'm sorry, Miami was making just off the ACC contract. So, like, you know,
what's going to happen is it's going to end up looking. Do you remember that? I was actually at Bonnaroo, like going to a Jay-Z concert and a Stevie Wonder show on a Saturday night when I think the Colorado-Nebraska news broke. And that was like when they were going to go, Colorado was going to the Pac-12 and Nebraska was going to the Big 12. And this was all on the heels of Texas, the Big Four threatening to go west.
Yes.
Out of the Big 12. And I think there's a chance that that's what could happen, because if you start actually doing the 14-team West, it's easy to pick, USC, Oregon, Washington, UCLA, BYU, Utah, Colorado. But then you're probably going to add the Texas schools. And if you want to keep the South, which is also going to have, Clemson, Miami, Florida State, Georgia Tech geographically in there, it's going to look kind of like the OG Big 12 or the OG Pac-12, the OG Big 10, the OG ACC, and it's going to be called something different, but it's just going to look the same.
Can I say how impressed I am that you just threw out that you found out about Colorado and Nebraska with a phone signal at a Jay-Z, Stevie Wonder, Bonnaroo performance?
And I was not in my right mind.
I guess, all right, I'll leave it alone. That was probably
birthday to
plant grown excitement.
Oh, there was a lot going on in Bonnaroo in 2010. Yeah. No, I couldn't afford craft beer back then. So you go drink some craft beer today. When you're that age, you probably can't afford it, but it's good for you. Just a couple beers in moderation, in public, socializing with your community and with the people you love at a local tap room is actually good for your health. I'm not making this up. This is science. I literally interviewed an evolutionary scientist after I read his book, and I was like, I can't believe this. Human civilization exists, Trey, because of beer, which is fantastic to think about. I love beer. You love beer. We all love beer. So make sure you check out East Nashville Beer Works if you're coming to Nashville. Make sure you check out Yazoo, Jackalope, Tennessee Brew Works, Black Abbey Brewing Company, all these great local Middle Tennessee beers. You can buy them distributed all over the Southeast. So make sure you buy a six-pack if you see one of these brands. And if you're in town, it's good for your health.
By the way, like, I really needed a laugh this week, and you throwing out all these different craft beers. When I was in school, the cool beer was Newcastle because of the label. And you were the OG because you could buy around for your boys for the expensive beer.
I thought I knew a secret that no one else knew at the bar when I was drinking Newcastle, and Red Stripe was the other one that I drank a lot of in Knoxville.
Yes, Red Stripe was the other one. It's like, let me take you out for a fancy dinner, babe, with a Newcastle and a Red Stripe. And now, I have to take out a mortgage.
You're right.
Some of these. I agree.
Right. No, it's good stuff. Okay. So go check out Good Craft Beer, and of course, be ready for this breakaway that's coming. I'm going to spend probably the next couple hours after the show working on my new 54-team breakaway and where they all fall and which regions and brackets they fall in.
It's coming quicker than people think. I'm just trying to warn folks. I mean, just look at. I know we're moving on here, but look at what the CFP did over the last year when it came to trying to figure out what a format is. Yeah. Like, I'm just telling you, like, somebody's going to piss off somebody enough Braden, that they're going to force the hand on this, and that's what I'm getting at. Like,
Well,
it's coming.
Yeah, and then your automatic bids aren't as big of a deal because
That's correct.
if you win your division, you get a spot,
that
and then
is
the next best 8 records get into the tournament, and then you have a 12-team tournament or 16-team tournament. It's not hard then to say, oh, these schedules are, because what you do is you break up the 4 divisions with as much competitive balance as possible over a long-term view, and then you go, everybody plays everybody in the conference, and that's it, in your division, and that's it.
It's the NFL, literally.
And then it's the NFL. Yeah, that's true. There's no question about that. All right.
I mean,
let's take so quickly here. Quarterfinals for 2026 playoff are going to be
this is atrocious.
January 1st. So no New Year's Eve game, which is what it is because they don't want to compete with the NFL. The semifinals are the 14th and the 15th. So you have a full 2-week break between the quarters and the semis, which does feel too long.
It's ridiculous. No, it's ridiculous.
And then you have the championship game on the 25th. The next year, it's basically one day earlier. The 24th is the championship game, and then January 13th and 14th are those Thursday, Friday. I thought this year was actually timed out very well. I think it was the 20th to the 1st or the 20th to the 31st, so it's like 12 days, and then to the championship, and the next round, and then the next. It was about 10 days after. I thought this year was pretty good. 15 days off in between this third and the second round of the playoffs is so dumb.
And then there's the one thing that also stood out to me, no New Year's Eve. I mean, I knew this was coming, but whatever. It finally got made public. No New Year's Eve game because college football doesn't want to go up against the NFL in their last regular season weekend. So no New Year's Eve game. So this is the infuriating part as just a college football fan. You're going to play one quarterfinal game on the 30th. You're going to take a full day off. Then you're going to come back on New Year's Day and play 3 more, starting with the whatever it is, 12 o'clock, then the Rose, and then it would be.
So you could, in theory, be off for 16 days from the 30th to the 15th. Yeah.
Yes.
That's
it is. I don't understand. I do understand it from a standpoint of the
Money.
NFL and money. I get that part. But 2 weeks off, man, like, stop.
You know who doesn't give a shit about holidays when they play their football games?
The NFL and
the NFL.
NBA.
They play it on a goddamn Sunday.
Yes. Yeah. They don't care.
I realize saying that sentence with those words on about a Sunday is ironic, but they don't care. New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, Christmas Eve, doesn't matter. They play them on Sundays.
That's and here's the other thing too, Braden. The college football in the NFL. And Roger Goodell kind of spoke about this in a sense of kind of like working with college football during the Super Bowl press conference and whatnot. They got to figure out a way, man, to make this thing. You could play games in the afternoon and have an NFL game at night. You could do this on New Year's Eve where,
they got to get off the bowl game, New Year's Day, New Year's Eve thing. Just play it on Saturday. Have the NFL do the primetime game and have the first 2 games be college. That's it.
Right. Exactly. And I think that where we are headed right now, because in 27, 28, like they kind of got it right with the dates, but man, I don't want to be covered. I mean, I'll do it. I love it, but covering a national championship game on the 27th of January,
it's insane.
Like that's a week ago.
It's Monday. It'll be Monday, the 25th, which is the latest championship game ever.
But it also goes back to, you have a 2-week layoff in between quarters.
2 of them.
Yes. Yeah. Like this is.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's nuts. And then think about it this way too. Lane Kiffin kind of posted about this, whatever. Sometimes he posts some interesting things. If you're ending the season last weekend of November and you're in the playoff, and I mean that in like the what I'm talking about, quarterfinal, like, and somebody, you're not playing for a full month. And it's even longer than that. The end of November, because the conference title games are still going to take place. So most of them schools that are in the playoff, you're not playing till January 1st or December 30th. You get a full month off. What do you do? What are we doing here? Like, I know the argument about this team, was better prepared because they played a game previously in the last couple of weeks. Like, dude, you are hurting the fans I would say the numbers for the national championship game being over $30 million was really good, and I think Fernando Mendoza and Miami helped that number.
I think Indiana is a unique story that drove
That's exactly right.
interest. Yeah.
Yes, if this was,
and it was a great game. It was a great game.
Yes, but you know where I'm going here. Like they are doing too much, and I think this scheduling thing, dude, is going to backfire down the road, because when we add more teams, guys, I'm just telling you, it's going to get even crazier. They're going to start the season earlier. They say they're going to try to end the season on an earlier date.
Well, how about this? So
I just don't think that's happening.
Saturday, the 28th of November is the last day of the regular season, and then you have December 5th, which is the Saturday that is your
championship
game. So I don't. Here's an idea: play the first round the next Saturday on the 12th, and then play the next round on a Saturday the 19th. And then if you want to take 2 weeks off for the semis, do it then and play them on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, which happens to be, oh, by the way, a Friday, close enough to a Saturday. So there's your 2-week break. And then you play the championship game on the 11th, 10 days later.
Well,
what are we doing?
Don't forget the president's about to sign an executive order where you can't play on the Army-Navy Day.
Well, that's so much of what he says, Trey, is real, though. So I don't, I'm sure that'll work.
That was a workaround, folks, by the way, because all the playoff is going to do is play. Okay, cool. We'll just play at 12 and then at 7:30.
All right. So let's get to these new coaches here. I want to talk about these new coaches. Go drink good local craft beer in Middle Tennessee, guys. Okay, go do it.
Just not at 10 o'clock in the morning.
No. So let's start with Lane Kiffin and LSU. I think they do have a shot to make a push for a playoff spot. I think they have the talent to do it. Much of it depends on how healthy Sam Levitt is. But they will only play 4 home games and 5 road games in the conference. So, again, remember, this is the first year of the 9-game schedule. Their non-conference is Clemson, Louisiana Tech, and McNeese State. All of them are at home. Their road schedule in the SEC, to me, strikes me on paper today, because it is February and we don't know what these rosters are going to look like. But today, their road schedule in the conference strikes me as very manageable. They do have to play at Ole Miss, which is freaking awesome. LSU
first conference game. I can't wait to be there.
But Kentucky, Auburn, Tennessee, and Arkansas on the road. That's 3 of the worst teams on paper, and then Tennessee, in theory. And so your road, yes, you miss Georgia. Your home schedule is brutal. LSU's home schedule is pretty brutal. I think they play Texas and Alabama,
Clemson.
And Clemson in the non-conference. But they have a really tough home schedule. But their road schedule in the SEC is very manageable. If they can win a couple of those games at home, they miss Georgia, who is the best team potentially in the league. They'll play Texas, who also could be the best team in the league. But I think LSU has a real path to getting back to being close to playoff contention quickly. I don't know how good they're going to be, but I think the schedule, considering their road schedule in the conference, I think it gives them an opportunity to pull some upsets early at home and then just avoid mistakes on the road.
The only speed bump I see, again, we don't know what these rosters are going to like. The only speed bump I could see is if Tennessee has Joey Aguilar at quarterback. I mean,
sure.
But and then Auburn, I mean, let's see what Gall. But I just say that's actually manageable, and it gets them in a spot where, I mean, you go 10-2, 9-3.
They
play for a playoff spot.
They play A&M, Bama, Texas at home, and Mississippi State. So that they do have like 3 playoff teams at home.
Ooh.
And they're on the road against Ole Miss. But they miss Georgia, and they miss Oklahoma. They miss Missouri, Vanderbilt, South Carolina, and Florida. So they play the bottom tier.
The National Guard to Oxford that weekend.
Yeah, no. Right now on the bottom tier in the conference, I have Mississippi State, Arkansas, Kentucky, and Auburn, and LSU will play all 4 of them.
Mississippi State, Auburn, Arkansas. Yeah, I mean, that's true.
I think that's the bottom tier. I think the next tier up is Missouri, Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Florida.
Yes.
And they miss 3 of those, and then they miss Oklahoma on the next tier, and they miss Georgia on the top tier. So I just think LSU has a schedule that sets up for them to do well.
Especially if your quarterback situation set, you're going to be fine at running back. Yeah, no, I agree. And I think the home schedule actually works out, especially if they can open the season with a win against Clemson. I think it's,
Here's the other one. I think Kentucky and Will Stein have an opportunity to win some games based on their schedule. I think Kentucky's
about to catch people off guard. I'm not talking about national championship. I'm not talking about CFP. But I do think that's an 8-4 squad
They
If
miss
these transfer portal additions can come into play, I love me some Will Stein. I do.
They miss a lot of the top. Okay, so they have so let's do non-conference quickly, get it out of the way.
Yeah.
They play Youngstown State, South Alabama, and then Louisville, all at
Okay,
home.
don't hate on my Jags. What are you doing?
All at home.
Okay.
But in theory, Louisville's a toss-up. But I mean, Louisville's whipped that ass a lot lately. Their road schedule, they do have a couple of tough ones. They've got to go to A&M, to Oklahoma. Then they have to go to South Carolina, to Tennessee, and to Missouri. Those are all losable games. Those are tough games.
3 losses.
They miss Texas, Georgia, and Ole Miss. They do not have to play, basically, on paper, what could be the 3 best teams if Chambliss is back.
They don't have a rematch against Texas next year? Wow. Okay. All right.
Their home schedule is LSU, which we don't know. Vanderbilt, without Pavia, I think is a step back. At Florida, I think is going to be better.
Yes.
And then Missouri, they're at Missouri. Sorry. So the home schedule is Florida, Vanderbilt, LSU, and who am I missing here? Who am I missing? Alabama. They play Alabama.
So 2 losses.
So
I can just say right off the bat, probably.
So this is not a playoff team. This is not a 9-win team. I'm just saying, could they be a 6-6 team with Will Stein in his first year? And I think
he's going to be the team, Braden, that scares the living hell out of other opponents.
Yes.
Like that's what they're going to be. Then it's going to turn around and be 6-7 wins on the season. Like they're going to be in these games.
They have 2 I think Youngstown and South Al, and then you miss Texas, Georgia, and Ole Miss. If you can beat Louisville, your rival at home, and win a couple games at home. I'm not saying it's an easy schedule. There are no easy schedules, 9 games in the SEC.
No, especially with the Jaguars coming to town.
I just think there's opportunity there for Kentucky to be better than people think. Look at Auburn. Let's go the other direction here. Look at Auburn.
This one's fascinating to me.
Only 4 home games in the conference, so they play 5 on the road. They're going to have Baylor, Southern Miss, and Samford, so 2 wins, but Baylor could be tricky. Their road schedule in the conference is gnarly, dude. At Georgia, at Ole Miss, at Alabama, at Tennessee, and then I think it's Mississippi State on the road as well. A Mississippi State team that, frankly, is getting better. And then at home, this is where it gets a little bit easier. But at home, you still have LSU, you still have Florida, and then of course you got Vanderbilt and Arkansas. So there's a couple wins at home in there where they could be the better team. And their non-con schedule. Yeah, we talked about that. I think they can get to 6 wins, but they miss Texas and they miss A&M, which are the 2 best teams they miss. But otherwise, their road schedule is. And
don't forget that game against Baylor is not at home.
No,
it's in the ATL.
Neutral. That is a gnarly.
That's going to be a home game for Auburn. But
that is a gnarly road schedule.
Yeah, that's a dangerous road schedule. I find 5 losses right off just talking to you right there about that.
Yeah, I agree. And it's sort of the coaching staff. It's not like I trust Golding and Silverfield less than Golish, but I think expectations are much higher at Auburn than they are even at Ole Miss.
Can Bynum be the guy that leads them at quarterback?
I think he's a great. I think he's their best. I think he's a great fit and the best possible option for them.
Yes.
Jon Sumrall in Florida is interesting. They'll get 5 home games in the conference.
I love Florida this year.
I do too. Their road games are Auburn, Missouri, Kentucky. Those are winnable. And yes, at Texas. That's a tricky one. But Florida will miss Alabama, Texas A&M, and LSU. They have to go. They get FAU and Campbell to start. So 2-0 to start, I think. And then they go to Florida State at the end of the year, which we don't even know.
Wait, you just said FAU and Campbell? They play Campbell University.
They play Florida Atlantic and Campbell.
I'm sure season ticket holders are really excited about that.
And so not only do they get 5 home games, but remember, Georgia is a neutral. So they only play 3 true road SEC games.
And that Georgia game is in Atlanta.
So their true road games are Auburn, Missouri, and Kentucky in the conference.
Auburn, Missouri, Kentucky.
Texas. Sorry, Texas.
That's okay. So 3 wins.
Yeah.
I would just, if they find the right situation, I could see that being 3 wins or 2 wins, whatever. Go 2-2 on the road.
Their home schedule is Ole Miss, South Carolina, Oklahoma.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait. because I'm adding in the games that they would play the neutral site. So you telling me
No,
they
no, no.
only
Hang
get
on. No, I misspoke. I counted 5 home games. It's actually 4, 4, and 1. 4 home, 4 road, and Georgia's the neutral. So
yeah,
I
but who's
misspoke.
their 4 SEC home games?
I misspoke.
But who are their 4 SEC home games?
Ole Miss, South Carolina, Oklahoma, and Vanderbilt. Those are all Oklahoma's tough, but those are all winnable games. And then, I mean, Ole Miss. I don't know how good Ole Miss is going to be.
I don't know. I mean, if they get Trinidad, sure, offensively they'll be good, but I don't know about the defense.
And you and I both like South Carolina, so maybe I shouldn't discount them. Their road schedule again: Auburn, Missouri, Texas, and Kentucky. I just think there's a lot of swing games for Florida, and so if they are good and good quickly, they can win a bunch of swing games at Florida.
If you split on the road and you split at home, I'm not counting the Georgia neutral site game. I could see 7 wins this year.
Yeah. Pete Golding and Ole Miss, they will play Louisville in a neutral site game to start the season, and then they have Charlotte and Wofford.
Is that game in Atlanta or Nashville? I think it's Nashville.
I don't know. It's a good question.
I think it's in Nashville.
Wofford and Charlotte should be automatic W's there.
It better be.
The Ole Miss will play 5 home games in the conference. Their road schedule involves Florida, Vanderbilt, Texas, and Oklahoma. So, Texas and Oklahoma on the road, not easy. At Florida could be difficult. At Vanderbilt, unsure. Vanderbilt taking a step back. Their home schedule: LSU, Georgia, Missouri, Auburn, and Mississippi State. So it's got a couple of tough ones, and then the Egg Bowl is never easy. So I think Ole Miss' schedule is pretty hard, actually, relatively speaking. So I would have.
If I'm an Ole Miss fan, like I'm season ticket holder, I'm stoked for that home schedule just for the 2 games.
Oh yeah. LSU, Georgia. Well, you add in Auburn in there too,
right?
And Mississippi State Egg Bowl. Yeah, that's a season ticket holder special.
That's a
right
dream.
There. Oh, by the way, you get a Missouri team coming to town too, which is not, it is what it is. Just another.
And I don't think you have to go far for your Louisville matchup.
I don't think so.
Look, man, me and you both know this. Like offensively, I think they're going to be good. Defensively, this is where I have concerns. I know it's Pete Golding. I know what they've been able to do in the portal, but at the same time, I could see them. Look, I think they're going to be contending for a CFP spot, Braden. But I could also see the downswing of this where they have 4 losses on the season.
So what's interesting about Ole Miss is they'll do Louisville, Charlotte, 1-2 to start, but then they do LSU at Florida, at Vanderbilt. And so even with Texas in the first half of the season, the key is if you upset LSU, or if it's not, maybe your favorite and you beat LSU, and it's so much emotion that you beat Lane Kiffin. Like you could come back and lose at Florida. Like they could be 2-2. And especially if you're replacing Chambliss, you could be 2-2. You also could be 4-0. And so I think a lot of this season for Ole Miss hinges on the first 4 games, because then you go in the middle, you go at Texas, Auburn, Georgia, at Oklahoma, 4 straight games. That is real hard going from October to November.
I know this is February and we're talking, but they better not get gat by Louisville to open the year, because that is the downside.
And not to go back to Kentucky, but like the beginning of their schedule, it's kind of the beauty of their Kentucky schedule is that it's kind of the difficulties is spread out. They're going to go Youngstown State to start, but then they go Alabama at A&M, and then South Alabama with a little bit of breather, and then at South Carolina, LSU, Oklahoma, and then you get Vanderbilt, Tennessee, Florida, Missouri, and Louisville. So you kind of have a nice stretch at the end there for Kentucky. Let's go to Arkansas real fast. Ryan Silverfield, North Alabama in week 1.
What the?
But at Utah and Georgia,
how do you sell that shit? Okay, wait a minute.
At Utah and Georgia in weeks 2 and 3 is real hard for a first-year coach at an Arkansas program devoid of talent. That's tricky. And then you go Tulsa, and then you do at A&M.
Tulsa's hard.
So at A&M, Tennessee, at Vanderbilt, and then you go. This is actually a decent stretch here for Arkansas. At Vandy, Missouri, at Auburn, South Carolina. Then you finish at Texas and LSU.
I could count 7 losses right now.
Yeah, I mean Utah could beat them. Their road schedule is at A&M.
That you threw me off a little bit with the Utah game, honestly, because I thought it was a little bit later in the season. I don't know why. Dude, okay, all right. I'm changing my philosophy a little bit on where Arkansas could be at.
So their road schedule in conference at A&M, at Vanderbilt, at Auburn, at Texas. So 2 really tough games, two teams that they could beat, but are
And the
probably
and the
underdogs.
A&M game, by the way, is in College Station or is at Arlington? I don't know if you have that pulled up. I'm
I
sorry.
don't. No, it does not say. It doesn't
went
say
back.
neutral. It doesn't say
Yeah, so
neutral.
so they've gone back to the home and home part.
I
Got
think
away
they
from
did the home
Arlington.
and home. Yeah,
Dude.
Arkansas. I honestly like.
Just prepare yourself, Arkansas fans.
It's tough, dude.
Yeah, because this is going to take a minute.
I want to end with how much I love 9 conference games as a fan. I understand the coaches don't like it, but as a fan, getting more SEC football is great. I love it. And the 6-3 model, I think they got it right. By and large, they got it right. I think we're going to have you're going to see these teams, every other team in the conference, at least twice every 4 years. And then you get to play all your rivals, basically, other than like that weird Ole Miss Oklahoma thing. Every single year. Tennessee, Florida needs to be on there more often. That's a bummer. But other than that, Alabama, LSU, I think is another one that kind of got left out. But I think they did a pretty good job. And I love the 6-3, and the 3-6, and I love the 9 games. I'm ready for it, man.
I think they finally got it right, Braden.
Yeah,
I think the coaches can be agitated all they want, but you know what? The consumer is the one you have to look out for. And I've said this a bunch, and I'll continue to say this. ADs and chancellors and presidents, while the coaches can give their opinions on what the future would look like, they really don't care at the end of the day, because that coach could be gone within 4 to 5 games of the 2026 season. They don't care what the coaches think. This is all about revenue. This is all about setting up for the future. This is all about making sure you hit your quota on season tickets. But also at the same time, you have to give a product to your television network that is worth it. And I think them doing this, look, the SEC was fine with 8, okay? But 9, that just, you hit a different mark as a conference, because I look at the Big Ten and I look at other conferences that do this, and they're doing a good service to their fans and to their television networks. And I think it's great that the SEC finally got around to doing that. Just being honest. I got tired of seeing, these high school games, or the school of the sick and poor play Alabama or Auburn, these other schools, at the beginning of November.
Agree.
So this is a smart move, and I think that it's going to pay off, and I think fans are going to enjoy it. And I think the CFP argument, I'm fascinated what that will look like again this year, but they got it right. So well done to the ADs, presidents, and chancellors.
Yep, I tend to agree with you, my guy. I tend to agree with you. So that about does it for here. I think the key here is I think Florida and LSU could be good quickly. I think Auburn is going to really take it on the chin from a scheduling standpoint, unless Byron Brown is just that special, which is possible. I think Kentucky has opportunity. I think Ole Miss is taking a step back unless Chambliss is eligible, which I think my guess is that everybody wins their stuff and they get eligible, but I'm not a lawyer.
Chambliss will be eligible. That one's going to take a minute because they want a trial. But he'll be eligible. Yeah. He'll be fine. Joey Aguilar is going to get his temporary injunction on Friday. I'm just going to go ahead and call it.
Yeah. No,
and Charles Bediako, that's the outlier here. I don't know if that judge is going to grant him an injunction where he can play the rest of the season.
Yep. We shall.
Godspeed. Pay attention to the court system on Friday. That's all I have to say. The NCAA sure is.
That's correct. That is correct. All right. Well, thank you guys for hanging out and listening. We do appreciate you guys. Make sure you check out all Trey's work, Outkick, and all over the socials as well. You can get to all the other great shows across the 440 Sports Network on the YouTube page and on your podcast app of choice. Just search 440 Sports. You'll get all the shows there. We've got great Titans coverage. Barry Trotz resigning as stepping down as the general manager of the Predators. We got coverage of that today coming up on the Gold Standard. We got all kinds of stuff. If you want winter storm coverage, we have news shows that we have on the network that you can go listen to. Pod Bless Nashville and a variety of other shows. So make sure you check out all that great stuff across the network. And we do appreciate for all of you listening. And again, check out good local craft beer. It is an important time to support a local craft tap room in your community. Go spend a few bucks there if you want to keep it alive and keep it afloat. If you're able to, go spend a few bucks, and it's good for your health, according to science.
Just not at 10:30 in the morning.
Not at 10:30 in the morning. probably from like 4 to 7 p.m. You don't want to be too late, and you don't want to be overserved. But 2 to 3 beers is actually a very healthy thing for you. You get to 4, not so much.
And then don't forget about the beer batted fish tacos and fries and all that stuff.
Tennessee Brew Works for the best food. If you want kind of a chill, relaxing river vibe, you got the Yazoo Brewing Company. If you're out in Wilson County in east of Nashville, you got East Nashville Beer Works. You got the pizza and the playground for the kids at East Nashville Beer Works in East Side in my neighborhood. And you got Jackalope and Black Abbey Brewing Company down in the south side.
Give Braden $40. He'll come babysit the kids while you enjoy drinks.
Absolutely. Go get some beers. I'll help you out, man. I'll help you out. Thanks for listening, everybody. We do appreciate you. Trey, always a pleasure, my guy. Good to see you. For Trey Wallace, I'm Braden Gall. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next time.